Welcome back to the battlefield. Today's episode will see hopefully some more progress against the Romans in Italy, but realistically we will probably just hold a defensive stance at Arretium and Ariminum, and what is more realistic is we will probably have the battle for Medhlan and maybe the battle for Patavium to secure Cisalpina and establish a sort of perimeter around the Italian peninsula. But anyway, to that effect, what we need to do first is chase down the remnants of the Roman legion that tried to counterattack us at Ariminum, and we will go ahead and wipe them out. Alright, so that is one legion down. That was the first actual, proper legion we have gone up against. So it's good to know that our men fight reasonably well against them.
Not possible.
While we're here, let's go ahead and give this general some upgrades. So this is for our shield wall army. So what I'm thinking is it would be good to upgrade the cavalry and the missiles. So let's go ahead and get those skills started. Over here in Arretium, we have a small rebellion that has started. I think we may as well just go ahead and get rid of them real quick. Just so that the Romans can't attack us and bring in this rebellion to help out, because that happens from time to time and just makes the battle a little bit more difficult. Go ahead and enslave the captives. Now, staying in the settlements themselves will cause another rebellion almost immediately, but I'm not actually overly concerned about rebellions here. We can farm them a little bit for experience for our generals, and if we choose to, we can just let a rebellion persist, and it will greatly help public order. So, rebellions in and of themselves are not terribly problematic at the moment. Alrighty, let's see. Over here, I'm having a hard time deciding between just getting another farm and getting the vintner for the huge boost to wealth from farming and agriculture. But I think it looks like we're going to go for the wine trader. That seems like a good idea to me. Over here, let's go ahead and build another temple. In the city of Genoa, we'll spend the money to start improving the barracks to a proving ground so we can start boosting the warrior class population and make it possible to recruit fresh recruits. Wow. Fresh troops or fresh recruits. I'm struggling already, man. But anyway, we've got those buildings upgraded. Let's just do a quick check through the remainder of our provinces. Public order is declining slightly, but that's because we just took so many slaves. Everywhere else, public order looks pretty good. Latium, we could stop taxing this province to prevent a rebellion for a little bit, but whatever. We're going to have another rebellion soon anyway, so I'm not overly concerned about it. Up here, let's go ahead and keep working on public order and sanitation. And the city of Limonum. I think we could probably get away with improving the warhorse trader to a warhorse market, because we don't need any more growth in this province. So even if we had a disease outbreak, I don't think it would be that big of a deal. But then again, I look at it, and the main problem is we would have -4 public order. And where public order is already a little bit of a problem in this province, it would probably be best to not make things worse. Alright, so our provinces seem to be sorted out well enough at the moment. Let's go ahead and check through our agents. I think I have gone down the wrong path with this agent. I think I would rather have these skills to make him an assassin, but at this point he's not going to have enough skill points to make that really possible, I don't think. Wait. Oh, it's because I already have those unlocked. I'm losing my marbles. Alright, well, whatever. We'll just go ahead and go with those skills. We'll keep him here just to keep an eye on the Carthaginians, see if anything interesting happens down here. This fine young man will keep searching through Sicily to see if we can find some Roman legions hanging out somewhere. It's good to see that all of our dignitaries are still deployed. And now, I had considered waiting until next turn to launch the Assault of Medhlan just to get the extra towers. But looking at it, I mean, we have 6 ballista, and we already have 4 towers, so that's probably more towers than we really need, so I'm just going to go ahead and launch the assault now. Right off the bat, we're just going to go ahead and light these arrow towers on fire. I think it's always a good idea to get rid of them if you can. Go ahead and make sure this archer unit is well within range. You know what? Move forward and hit the other tower. We'll have these guys attack this tower and then move over to this one. Meanwhile, the secondary army is joining the battlefield. Alright, so it looks like we're not really taking any fire from the enemy archer units, which is good. Sometimes the attack orders don't quite work right when you are going after enemy towers. Come on, light it up. There we go. We'll just go ahead and pull these guys back to here. Get them out of range of the towers, while the second army joins the battlefield. And at this point, we'll go ahead and fast forward as well. You know what, we'll have all of the archers. These guys aren't quite going to go where I want them to, so let's do this. Make sure they go out and around, excuse me, out and around that arrow tower. Now, the ballista, it's time for them to start bringing down some of these walls. Right off the bat, I think I want to get in this wall, and maybe right here. We're actually having reasonably good accuracy with the ballista so far, which is good to see. Just go ahead and try and conserve as much ammo as possible, because I would like to attack the enemy archers as much as I can.
We'll kill them all. The walls are breached.
Okay, so that's one breach ready to go, another breach just about set up. Now, on this side, the breach will probably be designed to just fight in this area. I don't really want to get in a prolonged engagement in this choke point, so that means I also want to open up a breach on the other side of the gate so we can attack both sides of it. And I might want to make this breach a little bit wider as well, but we will see. Over here, let's go ahead and increase the size of the breach in front of this tower. Alrighty, now what are we going to do over here? I think I want to put some ambushers on these ladders. We'll have the other ambushers come over here. Cavalry can hang out there. Probably won't use the dogs very much, but we will see. Any extra little bit of damage we can do to archer units is always a good thing. Alright, the second battery has been way more efficient than the first at opening up its second breach. So we'll probably hold on to their ammo and try and use it on enemy archers where we can. Unfortunately, the way barbarian settlements are set up, the angles are really bad for getting artillery close to the walls. So it might even be better to just bring down another segment of the wall here. But we'll go ahead and wait and see how the AI repositions. That is a pretty juicy target. So if they don't move, I might actually send some ballista stones over here. Yeah, matter of fact, let's just go ahead and do that. Let's get... Oops, I've selected the completely wrong unit to do that. Okay, you guys go ahead and hit that target. Over here, we actually have a decent angle on that cluster. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just kind of soften up these areas a little bit. I don't know how much range do we have with these guys. We do have enough range to hit into this gatehouse, so let's go ahead and do that.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
And then we'll save the ammo on the other two units. I really don't want to send noble swords up ladders first, obviously because they come from the first class population, and so they are more difficult to replace. Let's go ahead and keep working our troops out and around. I would like to give them some time to rest before we send them into combat, but that might not actually play out, we will see. Alright, the AI have actually dodged my artillery orders just by repositioning. You know what, that said, these guys over here are still in quite the clump, so let's go ahead and keep bombarding them.
The artillery stands ready.
Yeah, we're getting quite a few decent kills in here every time we actually get a shot into that area, so we'll go ahead and keep bombing that. I would like to get the archers together and maybe start attacking some of their archer units. Alright, let's fast forward this bit.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
These three, do they have the range? I wonder if I should have these three open up a breach over here, but it might not be worth the effort. Let's send... Thinking about sending these ambushers over here to grab the ladders and go attack the gatehouse, but let's go ahead and just use some axemen instead. Let's go ahead and start moving the infantry forward. I think we should be out of range of enemy archers here, so let's go ahead and position.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
The artillery is starting to run out of ammo, which is fine. Alright, we have one more artillery piece with any ammunition on the left battery.
Our hidden units have been discovered.
We don't really have any super good targets at the moment, though. It might have been a good idea to go ahead and burn down that tower, but let's keep holding off for now. Let the troops form up, because our formations are all sorts of screwed up at the moment. We've got troops all the way back to here, so yeah, it'll be a minute while the troops reform. But we will launch the assault soon. And you know what? The enemy is transferring almost all of their troops to this right flank, so we might be able to just try and break in really fast on the left side. And that'll give our troops on the right some time to form up, so let's actually go ahead and give that a shot. Let's move these units forward. I'll keep these axemen back because they won't really have any support right off the bat. I don't want to do much fighting over here because I haven't bothered to burn down those arrow towers. Let's go ahead and move our archers up and start hitting this unit here. And then let's also move these ladders forward a bit as well. Alright, our main line is coming under fire, but that is alright. Let's try and keep the cavalry close by so that if we do get a breakthrough, we can get the cavalry into the settlement. We're going to take a whole bunch of javelins, but I think we can probably break through this pretty quick. Somehow our guys are actually trying to use their javelins at this distance, which is wild to me. Let's see if we can get one unit in to block off that flank, and we'll send the second unit in like this. And it looks like they are going to give up this left side for the cavalry. Alright, so change of plans. This unit just needs to charge. These guys are going to have to hang out down here for a little bit. Okay, stop firing at will. You're just wasting your javelins. Okay, time to start sending the second unit forward, and then we'll get the cavalry through. You know what, why don't we bring all of the cavalry over?
Our general is under attack.
Alright, this unit's mostly in the walls, so let's go ahead and try and get them to use their javelins. They might fight us a little bit, though. Okay, come on. This drives me crazy when the unit just decides to keep moving around instead of doing what I want them to. It's all good, though. Alright, we've got most of our javelins out. Let's go ahead and charge in there. Now the cavalry has gotten through, so let's start. We could maybe start neutralizing some of these towers. We could maybe make a play for the town center.
One of our units has used all its
Start
ammunition.
bringing in the rest of these infantry units. Go ahead and target their archers. Make sure all of these guys are on guard mode. And we'll just go ahead and keep the rest of our forces here, because as long as the enemy decides not to fight us, and we can try and get a foothold elsewhere, I think I'm going to go ahead and just accept that, because that will be easier than a direct frontal engagement across the board. Alright, we don't want to be just taking missile fire from these towers forever, so let's go ahead and move the cavalry up to start capturing some of these towers. Can't quite get these swordsmen around, so let's start moving them towards the town center. These guys are getting hit from both sides, so they'll take a decent amount of casualties, but it won't be too bad, I hope. Go ahead and send a second reserve unit around this way to block the flank. Yeah, these guys are going to take some javelin fire, but that's alright. Let's just make sure they're actually in the capture zone for the tower. It'll take a little bit for our infantry units to get formed up.
One of our units
But alright, we're starting to get a breakthrough over here. Still not quite ready to send my troops through the rest of the city just yet. Just because there is no need to. I'm curious why this ladder has decided to not move. They have a move order, they're just not following it. Let's go ahead and try and get them to go forward a little bit now. Okay, these guys can actually drop the siege equipment. We're going to go start trying to hit the flank here. Now that we're looking like we're close to breakthrough, I want to start hitting them from multiple angles. Go ahead and let the infantry finish that capture, and bring the general around for hopefully some rear charges. Get these guys set up in the gap so that we can block out any enemy reinforcements. Alright, we are taking fire from their archers right here, which is bad. We're just throwing away lives right now. go ahead and have our archers fire back and hopefully rout these guys quickly. This unit in the back is soaking up the missile fire from their archers over here. That's fine with me. Let's see if we can get our axemen to throw their javelins at that cavalry. Just because cavalry can be a little bit difficult to deal with in these sorts of breaches because they almost always get a decent charge on you. Okay, I think the archers have dealt with another unit, so let's go ahead and have them change targets and bring in the rest of our cavalry on the left flank. These guys have almost broken through, so it's good timing to start sending the remaining units in. Alright, and surprisingly, their general has elected to not try and engage us, so let's just go ahead and give him a charge order over here. We'll bring in the secondary unit of infantry, because it's looking like they won't give us a good opportunity to get a rear charge here. Yeah, they've kind of blocked things off in such a way that we can't really get a proper rear charge with the cavalry. Alright, but we are through on this flank, so let's start collapsing over. Got the remainder of our cavalry in the settlement. How are we looking over here? Taking a little bit of damage with our archers, so let's go ahead and pull them back a bit. Fortunately, they are very easy to replenish. Or at least relatively easy to replenish. Yeah, and I'm not going to bother sending forward the ambushers just yet. I don't think we need to. If we can clean up this flank first, and then send the ambushers in, I think that would be ideal. I don't want to send my cavalry around just yet either, because I think they would just get trapped by enemy units. That being said, there is an archer unit over here that I want to get rid of, so we'll go ahead and do that. Alright, we got a little bit of a charge with our general. Now let's pull him back and send in the other infantry unit. We'll start wiping out this general, the garrison, I think. I can't tell if that's the garrison general or not. Go ahead and let those guys deal with the archers.
We have discovered the enemy's hidden units.
Our axemen won't stand up to missile fire as well, but they still should be alright. By this time I should have been burning down the towers, but at this point it's probably a little bit too late to have it make much difference. We'll give it a try anyway. Okay, let's see if we can get this unit to shatter before we pull the cavalry back. It looks like we're not quite going to get there, so we'll just pull the cav back instead. How's this going? Alright, so we're winning that engagement decisively. We don't really need to keep this cavalry here anymore. Let's go ahead and start moving it out.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
We're starting to chop through their front line as well on this left flank. I really should have been more careful with my archers, but whatever. They ended up taking a lot more damage during this battle than they should have. Oh, and I've also still got a ton of ballista ammo that I should have been using this whole time, so let's go ahead and start using it now. Maybe let's try and open up a breach in front of the gate. We'll bring our heavy infantry around towards the gate, and then leave some of our lighter infantry over here. Yeah, I don't understand why this ladder won't move. Or the guys pushing this ladder won't move.
Get running! For Britain!
Alright, whatever. Get off the ladder. If it's not going to work, it's not going to work. Okay, over here we'll try and have the axemen chase down this unit because they should be a little bit faster, and then we'll let the heavier infantry try and just get through this small gap and start working around the flank. This ballista doesn't have enough range to do anything very effective at the moment.
The enemy general is dead.
Enemy general's dead. Good. We should start to get through the should start to get this area captured now. Go ahead and leave these guys in position to lock down the entrance. Got a breach in the walls just in time for the heavy infantry to start moving forward. Now it's time to send forward the ladder. We'll start bringing the ambushers closer as well. Okay, I've got my units really bunched up here, which is actually pretty bad, so let's try and pull at least one of these units back. Our guys are winning their fights. Let's go ahead and send the heavy infantry in. See if we can maybe land a few late hits with the artillery as well. Maybe some flaming shot would be a good idea, but whatever. Alright, it's also time to start bringing the cavalry down this direction. Because we can start to get around the flanks of the enemy fairly easily now. Let's go ahead and give a charge order here, try and get the axemen involved over there. Bring these two units right up to this gap and try and get them through.
The enemy's tower has been destroyed.
Let's try and give some attack orders where we can. The ambushers might not even make it to the walls before the enemy rout. If they don't, that's okay. And we should definitely have our artillery stop firing now because we don't want any friendly fire. Get our reserve units in place, and then this battle should be wrapped up pretty soon. Let's try and get the generals involved in the fighting just so they can get those little bonuses from being in combat. Then we'll go ahead and charge down the Celtic townsfolk on this side and start just ruining their day. All of these guys need to not fire at will because it's just not being effective at the moment. These guys, however, can probably stand to use their javelins. No problem. Let's go ahead and send the generals in.
One of our units has used all its ammunition.
And I'm thinking this should be the end of the enemy army. Evidently, they are not quite ready to rout just yet. Let's see if we can make it happen with some flaming shot. Ah, well, there it is anyway. Oh, and we only have 17 seconds until we capture the fort anyway. Alright, well, fairly straightforward. I think I should have been more intelligent with the archers, and some of our swordsmen took a decent amount of damage, but overall wasn't too difficult of a siege. The other thing I'm a little bit embarrassed about is that I just completely forgot that I had artillery with any ammo. I'm so accustomed to spending all of the artillery ammo basically right off the bat. Alright, and that is the city of Medhlan captured. Unfortunately, we can't really make use of one of those 4 buildings, so looting it would be nice, and that's a lot of money as well, but we have a decent amount of money in our treasury, and I don't want to cause a rebellion here at the moment. So I think just raising the settlement would be a better option. The other thing to consider is I already have quite a few slaves across my kingdom, and more slaves will just reduce public order even further. So this is probably the best option for now. And do you know what I could do? I could merge some of these heavy swordsmen and then just go back to Genua and recruit a fresh unit. But whatever, it'll be alright. We can just let them replenish for now. What I do need to make happen, though, is I need to switch out some of these units so that we have more balanced armies again. So we will go ahead and do this. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that, and then this army doesn't have any more movement range, but we can put them back in the fortified stance. And we can give the general some skills to help him get the army replenishing faster. Let's see if that is also an option here. Yep, it is. Perfect. Alright, as far as reconstruction, we can just go ahead and repair the settlement main chain. Oh, I forgot that I'm playing as a barbarian faction, so I could have made use of the farm that was already here. That's a mistake, but whatever. We move on. Alright, and I think that's all I want to do this turn. We're still working on some research so we can convert this over to the boatyard, because I would rather build the fishing docks at Asculum, because Asculum, the settlement main chain, is a fishing settlement. So I think the bonuses go better together. I've never actually checked to make sure they go better together, but I think they do. And that's good enough for me. Alright, so that's all of the movement we need to do. We've already checked around with our provinces to make sure the public order and construction are in order. So let's just do a quick check at diplomacy to make sure that we don't run into any problems on our borders where we can avoid it.
Gold freely.
My main concern is that we're going to get into a war with the Germans, because there's a lot of factions over here and it's a large border, but so far we seem to be doing alright, so let's just keep going the way we are and keep dealing with Rome. Okay, so the rebellion has sprung up at Arretium again, not really a problem there. Especially because this army is able to replenish now. Ariminum is still struggling. It looks like it's burning and on fire, but that's because we're still working on the construction. At least for the most part, that's why. Okay. Now, what I want to do is start exchanging these armies so that my field armies can have the fight for Patavium and my siege armies can prepare for the assault on the city of Rome. But, for ungodly reasons, the Veneti have managed to block this bridge with one person. And I really, really hate when the AI do this. But it is what it is. Because what I wanted to do is move back to Genua and try and get some replenishment over the end turn, but now it's not going to happen. So instead, let's just go ahead and pop our armies out of the settlement itself, and hopefully they will be in position to launch an assault next turn. I'm reasonably confident that our forces are capable of defeating the Veneti, but I'm not 100% sure, but we will see how it goes. Other than that, the interesting occurrence during the end turn is that our scout discovered 2 full Roman legions returning from Africa. And it looks like these legions probably have not lost very many battles because they are still largely made up of the early Hastati and Principe and Triari units. So they will be pretty tough to beat, but our heavy swordsmen should be able to chop through them somewhat efficiently. Oh, you know what? That's the other skill we need to get. The one that helps with chance of critical success and chance of success in general for agent actions. So we should be able to use that spy to perform some some assassinations soon. Man, I am struggling to speak lately. Should we bother attacking those guys? What we're going to do here is actually switch the armies around so that this general can start gaining experience from fighting the rebellion rather than our general who is already max rank, our high king, fighting rebellions and not really gaining as much out of it. My voice has just decided to die as well. Give me just a moment here. Okay. So, back across the provinces, during winter, public order is a little bit more of a problem across the board, but it's still nothing major. We're not quite at the point that we need to send an emissary to Caledonia, so we won't bother with that just yet. Probably next turn would be the right time to do that. Let's double check that things look good here. Loyalty is looking great, so I think we can just move on to the next turn. Let me just double check for anyone who's gained any skills. Nobody has. We're currently working on some civil development. Is that right? Yeah, it should be right. So let's go ahead and get a slight boost to that. It won't actually make a difference in the short term, but it'll make me feel better. Alright, now we should deal with the rebellion, but it is a little bit stronger now, so I think it would probably be a good idea to fight that manually. Over here, we did not pick up any replenishment over the end turn, which is unfortunate. Here's what we'll do. Get both armies out of their fortified stances, and then take the army that is healthier and exchange some units so that this army doesn't really need any replenishment, and we will have them move forward to do a little bit of scouting if they can. Alright, so they have quite a light army here, so let's go ahead and have this army do some raiding, and we will see if we can get some replenishment over this end turn. And whether we do or don't, we will still launch the assault on Patavium next turn. Alright, let's go ahead and deal with this rebellion, and then I think we'll call it an episode. Obviously, this isn't going to be a difficult battle. I'm going to fight this just to try and preserve lives, or at least to try and pick and choose which units take the most damage. Go ahead and take a very, very standard formation. Except, what I think I will do is have the Swordmasters and the Swordsmen, the Noble Swords, line up in front of our spear wall. And then we will have the cavalry do the cavalry things, and our swordsmen can fight the enemy spears. I think that's probably the best play here. These slinger spearmen look pretty cool. Some of their helmets look almost like modern helmets. Obviously there are some major differences, but they sort of look similar. And I believe as soon as we get within missile range, they will start charging us, which of course is fine. Let's go ahead and actually try to provoke them by bringing the slingers down. Okay, I can't see what's going on with my controls at the moment. Okay, as soon as we get in range, I'm sure they will start charging at us. There goes some movement. Let's go ahead and just make sure our front line is, or our skirmishers are supported. Their cavalry is beginning to isolate itself, which is good. Go ahead and just let the slingers do their thing for the time being. Alright, time to send the cavalry in, and then time to send the swords in as well. Because ideally, their skirmishers wouldn't even get to attack at all. Getting some really nice charges in here with the cavalry, which is good to see. Unfortunately, one of their missile units is going to get away, and we can't realistically charge into that fight right now. We might have to drop back out of some of these fights here.
The oaks are our strength. Chosen swords. Warriors, ready.
Okay, let's just make sure their cavalry doesn't get in here and mess us
One
up.
of our units has used all its ammunition. Heroic nobles. Heavy horsemen.
Ooh, and our cavalry got caught by their spears, which is obviously not good. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's bring these swordsmen over here, bring the chosen swords there. Let the general keep doing his thing. Alright, we just gotta give a charge order here. Amazingly, our slingers almost managed to break this unit of spearmen by themselves. Alright, we need to get the cavalry out of this engagement, so let's go ahead and let them pull back. Fortunately, their general broke at the exact right time. Let's go ahead and try and make sure we chase these guys down, even though I don't think we really need to. And then we'll have the slingers cease fire. Alright, so we're going to have an uphill charge with the Swordmasters, which is obviously not as good as a downhill charge, but what can you do? I haven't been careful enough to actually position my guys well in this fight. Oh well. Alright, now come on, quit running away and don't die due to army losses. I really want these Swordmasters to actually get a charge here. And their guys are being really annoying right now. So let's bring the cavalry out and around behind the Swordmasters and see if we can get them to charge us. This has also given us the uphill advantage again, which is nice. Try and get the Swordmasters set up in a nice and wide formation and then see if we can catch these spearmen. Quit running. Fight me. Oh, what I should have done is learn how to control the camera, but what I should have done is watched the casualties from the initial charge. Because obviously our Swordmasters just absolutely ripped right through these guys. I mean, look at how fast we dropped that unit down to nothing. That was very, very fast. Alright, well, nice, simple, straightforward battle, and I'll go ahead and end the episode here. As always, I hope you guys enjoy, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. We're getting ever so much closer to the assault on Rome. Anyway, hope you guys are doing well, and we'll see you next time.